of managing risk. So we'll go ahead and start out with the overnight session. We can see, actually, we'll do a top-down approach because I didn't get to do the trade view today. So we'll look at the charts here, start on the monthly. Let me switch it to 24 hours here. All right, so monthly view, we peeked into our little box that we were kind of watching, that we've been watching this week. Little peek in there yesterday, little sell-off pretty much for the remainder of the day yesterday. Go ahead and remove this one. We're still respecting this shorter term downtrend from these past 2 months, trading inside the previous month's range and kind of coming up to a spot where we saw a little bit of continuation here. So really, I think the key here is still going to be that 3,800, 3,780 level to hold above. I'd like to see buyers keep maintaining this level, and I still think that looks good for the upside. It does look like we're getting a little bit of a bounce here off of the lows from Globex as well, going into after that PCE and the unemployment numbers. We can see on the weekly we're one time framing to the upside. So we can assume here, based off of this, that this wick here, this excess, is marking the entrance of a longer term or intermediate term trader, right? That's how we determine excess and kind of what it means. So we see, this kind of weak excess here. We do have decent excess here, good excess here, good excess here. So it looks like a buyer has entered the market. And that's not necessarily say it's just going to keep coming up and they're just going to ping pong off of each other. We do have some excess here as well, but this is saying, should the market come back down and test this level, we should see this buyer try to meet somewhere in the middle and possibly step up or probably step up. So far this is good excess, and this is marking our current low. On the daily, right, we're one time framing up still. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row of one time framing to the upside. Yesterday was a doji, right? Peter, good morning. Zoe, good morning. Caesar, good morning. Reyes, good morning. Tommy, good morning. And so this, a lot of people put a lot of weight on doji. It really just means that market auctioned up, reject those prices, and then came back down and settled down at neutral. I think it would mean a little bit more if the market auctioned lower, right? If we auctioned up to this high and then auctioned down lower, then that would tell us that maybe there was a seller here meeting that price. But so far, we're not really getting that, and we're just kind of inside that previous day's range. We switch over to the profile chart, and we can see, got a poor high, poor low, maintained inside the previous day's range. We can see where the settle was at, see where the last was at. So there's a big gap inside here. Overnight inventory is long, 100% for the most part, right? Maybe 90-10, but pretty much net long. And we've got that 50 daily moving average up here, and then the half back up here at that 38.66. And that's going to be kind of the key today for me. I'd really like to see the market, if it wants to continue getting to the upside, to climb over this half back, this 38.66, and start to try to make some movement to the upside. We'll look to see if there's an overnight inventory correction off the open. We've got that VPOC down here. So we've got the point of control 18 TPOs wide, it looks like here. And then we've only got 11 down here, but this is where most of the volume came in. And that's because it's including the last portion, that 4 to 5 period. So after those earnings came out from Meta, that's where a lot of the volume came in. So, I mean, and even then, you can see like a lot of the volume. So we spent a lot of time up here at the high, but not a lot of volume, kind of telling us that buyers weren't really willing to buy these higher prices, and it was just a little bit easier for sellers to kind of hold the price down. So just something to to just be aware of. So there's the dollar. Dollar still one time framing down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row now. See a little bounce in the dollar overnight, little recovery after getting sold off so hard. Makes sense that it gets a little bit of a bounce. It's got that 50 moving average, and that's where we're going to create an alert today to see if it's able to climb up above. We were watching that 112.41. It wasn't able to come back and recapture, so we'll now start watching that 110.60 level on the dollar. That could show a little bit of strength if it's able to pop up above that 50 and start to hold. We'll be watching that. The Australian dollar actually finally hit our target overnight, and it's coming up to that 50 moving average as well. So that'll be kind of the next resistance. No position on in the Australian dollar here, uh, but that, kind of getting that, this corner kick look here. So we'll kind of see if we get any follow through or if there's a rejection. The euro, right? Euro's still looking strong. It's broke out of all of these trends. We can go ahead and remove all of these. Making higher lows and higher highs, at least in the short term. Um, Climbed above that 50, so it's kind of leading the charge from the upside. Bitcoin, right? Still looking pretty strong up there at that 27. We'll look at crypto up on trading view here in a second. All right, Tommy, we'll see you. Oil, right? Oil broke out of that trend back above the 50, really looking strong as well, but still not making any higher highs, just making higher lows. So still monitoring here to see if there's going to be any real follow through with oil. Uh, Oil typically not necessarily the best to have elevated oil prices, right? Apple's got earnings today. Big key is still going to be that 153.74. You can kind of see, and we'll zoom in here with these ones to see how they're acting pre-market. You can see Apple's getting a little bit of selling here off of or during the pre-market here, so it'll be something interesting to watch as the market starts to churn as the day goes on. Apple, as of right now, is basically trading at its lows from yesterday, which wouldn't surprise me that they try to sell this thing off and then buy it up all day, right? Try to sell it off in the pre-market and then buy it up all day. AMD, excuse me, looking pretty strong, trading near its highs from yesterday, and maybe possibly opening up on a gap to the upside. Amazon looking pretty weak. Also has earnings today after the market closes. We'll kind of see what happens with this. Looks like it's going to be opening up on a gap lower. Go ahead and watch this 114 level here. See if it fills that up off the open. Google looks like it's going to be opening up right at the lows of yesterday's range. They had that weak earnings a couple of days ago, and they've been kind of just getting punished for that. Meta earnings yesterday, right? Obviously didn't go well. They're underneath of that $100 mark. I think it's a pretty psychological level. I think a lot of people are probably going to be pouring into Meta for the value of it, right? They haven't had a chance maybe to buy Meta ever. Some people, right, haven't been in the trading game for a long time, and they're seeing $100 and they're thinking, okay, $100 is pretty round number, pretty easily manageable number, and might be a spot where I want to get into the game and maybe build a little Facebook or Meta position here. So we'll kind of see what happens with that. I I don't think it's the best spot to buy, as you guys know. I think that Meta might be on their way out. I'm not too sold on the metaverse thing. Morning Roach, morning Adam. I'm not too sold on the metaverse thing. I don't think it's time for it yet. So we'll just kind of see and play it by ear and determine basically just how it goes and how the adoption of it goes, right? I saw on their earnings. Let me see on Meta. Their earnings, there was a 1.88 estimation. Their actual is 1.64, so they They didn't actually meet the earnings. They missed the earnings, but they met on something. They had kind of a mixed review, and then their forward guidance wasn't the best. That's why you kind of see this little pop and then drop from their earnings yesterday. So we'll monitor for that. Right, they're pretty far below the gap, but just creating another gap in their market. And if we switch this thing over to a daily chart and get rid of the extended hours on the equities, I mean you could see there's some gaps in here. Maybe it's not showing up. There's some gaps in here for Meta on the year. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. Good morning, Dad. Microsoft, also pretty much just trading inside its range from yesterday. Had that late day sell off. They actually looked pretty okay compared to everybody. They found some buyers intraday, but so far they're just kind of hanging out at the lows after their kind of weak earnings as well. Netflix still looking good. A little wick down here in the Globex session with those weak earnings, but they pop back up. They're opening up at the highs. Another P profile for Netflix. So just goes to kind of show you Netflix was a little bit over shorted, I think, catching a nice little pop. You guys remember we played Netflix a couple of months ago, and I think we closed. I think we closed like 230 something. We had weekly plays, but they're all the way up over at 300 now. So Nvidia looking stronger than AMD, getting more love, right? Nancy Pelosi out here just pumping up Nvidia. She's a big believer in it, and go to the moon. Tesla looking a lot stronger as well, right? A lot of people are ready for Elon to be buying Twitter here, and I guess we'll kind of see what happens. He walked into the Twitter's headquarters with a kitchen sink in his hands, being the comical jokester that Elon just happens to be at all times, right? Because he never takes anything serious, it seems, or just makes light of a over serious situation. So depending upon how you feel about him, it probably either makes you happy or sad, right? Really, you should and could probably care less. He's just gonna be who he is, so there's no reason to get bent out of shape about it. Um, and we've got the TNX finally below the 40, taking us at a little bit of risk off there, right? Taking a little pressure off the market, releasing the grip a little bit. We've got the VIX down under 27. And remember, we talked about this isn't necessarily like, oh, risk off. It's the VIX is 27. We can just buy. This means that people aren't hedged as heavy as they were in the previous month. 27 is still pretty highly elevated VIX in my opinion. So I don't think I would really just be, uh, throwing caution to the wind at this point. But it's definitely something that we want to pay attention to. Let's take a peek at some crypto real quick. Morning, Dad. So we can see Bitcoin in here trapped in between these two zones once again. It's been a while. That magnet started sucking it back in, that 20K. Right now we're kind of firmly above that 20K. We really want to see it hold this zone. It's getting right up there, close to test that trend line. A break of this trend line could probably take us up, near 25K, I think is what I was looking at. We've got 21K first and then 23K after that, but you've got that 200 moving average up there around 25K. So that would make sense if that's where it gets pulled up to, if the risk goes on. I think the market may get a little bit overextended, especially going into tomorrow. We may see just more upside going into tomorrow, and that'll be something that we definitely want to be watching for and paying attention to. And then let's take a peek at ETH. Right, ETH has broken this longer term trend. We're way off of our levels now, back up to that 15,000. So ETH looking a lot stronger than than Bitcoin, right? Lot bigger percentage move in my opinion. At least it looks like it. We've got that 200 moving average at that 1700 level. This area here is basically an area that we've kind of seen act as a supply zone for an extended period of time on crypto, and this is since that initial move down, and this is back in May. And we've seen this as kind of the area where ETH really kind of failed to hold before liquidating again, and so it makes sense at least to try to get up there again, and then failed to hold, traded lower, and is now kind of trading back up there. So if it is able to capture the 200 inside this zone, that's at 1900 to 2150. It would make sense that that would be the target there. Excuse me. And that'll be kind of the area that we'll be watching moving forward with ETH. Intraday, ETH is a little bit extended. We're still trading inside the previous day's range, but I wouldn't be surprised to see kind of a test back down in here to this 1500 level if there is any downside pressure in the market today, and see if buyers are willing to step up at these lows and bring this weekly VWAP up here. Um, I mean, we do have a weak low today on the profile. Right, this A low from yesterday is basically right at this B low from the previous day, and we've got this overnight um, level right at the A low. So this is kind of a really weak point and could be a breaking point in the market here, especially if we get a correction to overnight inventory and we don't see buyers step up and try to hold this settle. Right, we'll be opening up like a little CME gap, so we'll look to see some downside pressure, and a break of that really could start testing into this excess. And I'm thinking um, really 3800, 3780 level. Here's that 3803, but you've got this VPOC down here, and you can see the market's kind of just balancing higher. Yesterday value was overlapping to higher, but the settle was kind of weak, and got this test above initial balance and then really failed to hold it. So that's why I'd like to see, to convince me of any real long side action, I'd like to see the market get above this 3866 to see if we can continue the climb or the ascension. A little liquidation there here early. Early. Oh, and we're dropping right down to the last here. But, I mean, pretty much anything's on the table today. We're just, for the most part, in a 2-day balance. Value areas are pretty much balancing over here. So, and then blowback sessions inside balance. So, probably get a choppy opening. It'll be a wait and see type of moment, type of opening. We don't really have any more economic news coming through the wire here for the rest of the session. We had jobless claims, we had PCE, we had GDP this morning, we had continuous jobless claims, and those were elevated. So nothing really too crazy. We've got some 4-week bills. Governor Woods is going to speak at 11:30 from the GDP or excuse me. KC Fed Manufacturing at 11 shouldn't be too much of a mover. And then some more news coming out overnight from Japan. But other than that, not much. All eyes mostly today going to be focused on that Apple and Amazon earnings. The response on the overnight low. Yeah. Well, and also it was news driven too. There was some news that came out. Those continuous jobless claims, I think, were the big mover this morning. Core PCE really didn't do much, but those jobless claims kind of made the market bounce. I feel like they were elevated, and that that's kind of that bad news equals good news situation where people are just assuming more or less that the Fed's gonna quantitatively ease comparatively to the tightening. Oh, all right. Now we're ready. We've saluted the flag. We're awake, morning liquor, and we're ready to respond to action here. Book looks pretty thin here before the market's opening up too. What do we got? 3 minutes still? 2.5 minutes. So now's that time where you do your final meditation, lock in your plan, right? Decide that are you going to take an early trade, or are you going to be patient? You're going to wait for this trade to present itself. We kind of have our plans, right? Don't trade in the chop, right? Which is basically trading in this middle part. We want to see the market get above 66 if it's going to show us some strength. If it gets towards the low, there's good odds that comes with the liquidation, and that low breaks, and we'll have to start watching towards that 3807 level, which is that T2 high, and become the T3 high, but that AXS period as well. Right at the VWAP, the market is. There's the open. A little delay in the data there. That's kind of weird. A little Paparuski right off the open. That was interesting. Yeah, that was an interesting open. That's weird. So right up to that 50 SMA, you get the breath opening up 2 to 8. Nasdaq breath opens up negative here. The tick opens up well above 1,000, 1150. So we'll see. And remember, if we don't get a negative tick, I mean, overnight inventory is 100% long, but there's not really an opportunity for that fade unless we get this negative tick. We are leaning more bullish still, like we've talked about, just leaning to the upside into Friday. Into Monday, really. Morning, Trent. Nasdaq starting to go. At 38.66 is where we want to see the market get above. We're kind of getting that nice bounce. Buyers stepped up right above that point of control. They're still kind of continuing up here. Right back down. See if buyers step up around the same spot here. Nasdaq slipping here a little bit. Very, I don't know, very choppy, the data. I don't know if it's data or just the market's being choppy or what, but there's kind of a very interesting move here going on. Go back up above the 50. Should be heading towards the 66 here now. Nice. Nice. So a little bit of giving up here. Market really just kind of balancing, trying to see if it's going to accept this value. Really choppy to start the session off. Got our sectors pretty much all flipping to green here. Except healthcare, right? Healthcare is down here a little bit. Tobias, good morning. Buyers stepping up above the 50 SMA now. Excuse me. Like sellers tried hard right there on the 60 and weren't able to get it. Watch this 60. This looks like the battleground here. Right on the 50 SMA. A lot of offers coming out on the 60. Back down to the half back. Back at 60. Watch the there's that level 60. Really tight range to open up the day here. Right, we're about 64 to 50, so about another 14-point range. This is how we opened up the day yesterday, if you guys remember yesterday as well. Still above the open. Not really a huge overnight inventory correction. That kind of shows a little weakness in sellers right away. The breadth is pretty much the same. Nasdaq breadth has improved a little bit. That kind of has me leaning a little bit more to the upside until we kind of see a situational change. But the tick here is not really giving us much information. Still just trading in the positives here, but coming down for sure. You can see the nicey breath is coming down as well. We were at 2.88 at the open, 2.5 now. No real conviction from either side yet, just back and forth. A lot of volume forming in right here. Tick's trying to come back to zero. I think if we get back to this zero tick, we might see an overnight inventory correction. You start targeting that settle. Nasdaq pulling back here a little bit harder than the rest. Very choppy, right? You can just see like the emotion in the market here. A little bit of buyers starting to show up or short covering showing up. It's hard to tell right there. See the weighted AD just barely ticking red here. We're about 7 minutes into the market. Look how choppy that is. Look at that. Buyers just step up. So still haven't touched the open here. I'm not looking for shorts, TJ, until we break the open or until we get a negative tick. Yeah, I won't even think about a short until that tick gets below zero. Yeah, no chance. I mean, it could come, and I might just be a little bit late to the party, and I'm fine with that. Um, I mean, it looks like it wants to go, and that low is just so weak. You've kind of got like three spots where it's just kind of a lining up to go. But I'd like to see the market get below the open, right? That would show some weakness. And I'd like to see a negative tick, but every time we get down here, it just seems like either shorts are covering or buyers are stepping up. It's hard for me to tell because the liquidity is so thin right now that and so choppy. Market's really just kind of jumping around on me. It's hard to get a grip on anything. I only took one trade and it was from 58 to 60.50. I got out right away because it was just didn't give us anything else. Took a little pop off the half back and then took it right up to the 50 moving average and that was it. Didn't get any continuation and flattened out. This 52.50 goes, we should crack the open. Nasdaq's looking pretty weak here. Microsoft's looking pretty weak. Apple's looking pretty weak. AMD's on a tear, up about 4.5%. There's the crack. Still not a negative tick yet, though. Come on, sellers. A little bit of short covering here on this 48, 49. Some momentum shorts tried to pile in here. Offers coming down here on this 49. Okay, there we go. There's some volume. Okay, so they got stuck down there. Bid steps up. See if the bid's going to hold the 50. Sellers are stuck right here on this 49. They need to get this back below 49. They're trying. So, all right, let's target that settle. There's the crack of 0. Excuse me. Don't follow through. A little short covering there. Short started to cover that 46, and bids are starting to follow up. They're trying to soak this thing in. These buyers are back above the open. Yeah, that was a trap. Trap. Look how the response of the tick is. See that? Nasdaq's starting to pump too. It's a tough market to trade. Just sit on my hands real quick. Make sure I don't make any mistakes. Watch for volume to start to form down here below the open, right? See, look at all the overhead volume. A lot of people got short right there, and because they're not getting this continuation they're looking for here is, you know, they need that continuation to feel more comfortable to add to the short. But that's, you know, that was kind of a little decent response there. Back below the open now. Back to this 49. This is where they originally moved down to start it selling. Let's see if they can sell it again. Oh, we're on a 15-minute here. I'm like, what the fuck? Why does that look so different? A pretty steep move here down. And you're kind of seeing like the trap here. See this? We got four 1-minute bars forming. You got excess on the low, a break above this VWAP, which is sitting at if right above the open at like 51.52. Probably takes us back up to that 60 level, 58 level, where we saw kind of the initial, you know, volume area. 58, 60 is that daily moving average. They're offering this 49 pretty well. Keep getting stuck. Sellers do. So watch it pop. We just popped the VWAP. Right, it's right above the open. Sellers don't show up here. See this weak spot on the profile. We can expect shorts to cover. Okay, so they show in a little bit. Let's keep watching. If they don't show up here, we should come back to this 58 level, and 60 level being the target there. Dancing right at the VWAP here, right? VWAP's right above the open. Bids chasing up. Yep, I got it. See if they keep chasing. Chasing. Keep chasing. Little offer here on the 54. 58. Liquidation. Sellers just got trapped right on the VWAP again. If they can push it back down. Okay, so we got some sellers there on the 54. They moved down from 58 to 54. Now we identified where they're at. Let's see how this VWAP acts again. Tick didn't get the biggest response there, right? Didn't pop above that 600. Go right to the open. You're just seeing that buying response down here. Like it looks like there's a buyer just kind of, lurking down here, like right above the settle. But there's a seller sitting on the 49. So we've got 54, 49, 58. We didn't get back up to test. Let's see if they offer this 50 for, well, 50 basically. We call it 50, 49. But it's basically, I mean, I think it's 49. Keep giving it up. Seller's still active at the VWAP. Seller's at the half back to 54. Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call. Good push down there. No big response from them. Seeing the tech sector is red. Seeing the Nasdaq breath picks up a little bit. We're not seeing too much of like a hardcore breath or anything, but you are seeing the weighted AD get pushed down pretty big, and you've got 4 out of the top 5, which is 50% or 60% of the market red here, and healthcare down almost 1% and tech down 0.5%. That's fairly big. Sellers moving down here to the 42 offer. Now we see a bunch of stop losses just lined up to the downside here. I didn't get in on that trade at all. Really staying patient today if I am. Nasdaq's really getting punished here comparatively. to the other ones. Russell's still up 0.76. The Dow's still up 0.9. Nasdaq's down 1%, and the ES is down 0.1% right now. Another poor low or another weak low there. Going to tap yesterday's low. Yeah. We've got that seller sitting on like the 39. The offer came out on that 41. Buyers still so far just kind of trying to hold this level. Little liquidation, so they break the low, so they repair that weak low there. Now we want to look for continuation. Selling on the prior day low. Mechanical. We got stops just lined up down here though, so we should be clear. Starting to get a tick close below zero here. Down to the weekly VWAP right here at the 38.31. So there's a lot of stops just popped out. We want to see the market hold below this 31 here. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it really hold below the 34 here. Excuse me. That 34 is that prior day low. I'd like to see them come down and start selling this down here a little bit lower. $55 and $47, so the call put counts are pretty neutral. A little bit of volume coming in here. That breadth is still relatively, neutral. Not really convincing. It's just the tech sector is just not rallying. Um, it's just not agreeing with the NYSE. So you wonder, is the Nasdaq leading the way down, or are the other sectors going to come on board? Russell's rolling over here pretty big, down, or it's up only about 0.4 now. Dow's up 0.8. Nasdaq down almost a point and a half or percent and a half. Nice volume forming here. See if they keep offering this low. 29, 50, 30 level. Yeah, we don't want to see these sellers give up this 30 level. So they came down, they started selling this 30 level. If they give up that 30 level, you got to start thinking about these weak spots here. 33, 35, 39 level as a spot where stops are probably sitting at. I like to keep seeing them sell this. And I mean, really, the target here is this 38.07 if they can get anything rolling. You got 600 lots sitting on the 25 down here. The bot got into a call. My algo took. Well, it must have taken a trade. Yeah, but it's already out. The algo shorted 36 and got out at 31.
Yeah, I'm not sure my bot got in the right way, but that's what it was set to. And it actually got sort of confirmation just before it started dipping. So I guess we'll see if it pulls it out and it's right, or if it just made a mistake and it's wrong.
I mean, we're seeing the tempo start to slow here a bit. If we don't get another liquidation break, that would kind of confirm. You're seeing some selling here now, though. 135 lots on the 26 quarter. That 25 has 630 lots on it. One of them is a 500 lot order. Some bids stepping up in front of it now as well. They're adding to those 25 quarter bids. Yeah, we may see a little Paparuski here. About 4 minutes left until B period opens up, guys. Seeing look at tech down, 1.32. Healthcare is pretty much holding that 0.75. Consumer discretionary down 1%. So like I said, top four, 60%. You've got 3 out of the 4 down a pretty decent amount. And you got that nice e-breath dropping from about 2.88 to 1.2. So it's about split in half. NASDAQ breath's back to where it opened up at. So selling's definitely starting to pick up here. We're getting a little bit of a pop though. They're getting kind of scared off that low of those bids that are sitting on the 25 quarter, kind of holding here for now. A little 2 point pop off the low there. I'll be right back. B period opens up. We got a little excess on the low here, a little tapering there, right? And then you can see, you look right here at this 30 quarter, 30 half here, a little bit of a volume gap. So we'll see how it acts right there, and that'll give us a little bit of insight on probably what the next move is. The seller's still kind of sitting on this 34. That's that prior day low. That B high is kind of a mechanical high here. Not really the greatest high, right at the Globex low, right at yesterday's low. Breath fairly neutral still. Little bounce in tech, right? We're down 1.34 last time I looked. Now it's down 1% here. I don't have any alerts yet from any of the alerts we set this morning, so time for a little bouncerooski. Next offer wasn't until 42, I think. Or maybe, where did we see the volume at? Yeah, 42. Right about the settle. So, excuse me. When we see stuff like this, guys, so we see this B period open up, right? Get a little look down here. We have a taper here, and then as we keep tapering, all of a sudden there's like a little volume cutoff, right? And when it came down right there, it just popped right back off of it. So we can assume that someone's front running here, and then it pops back up, right? So this is where we've identified where our buyer's sitting at 30. Okay, and we know our seller is probably sitting, it's probably a little bit of selling here on the 42, but that 48 was the big level. 49 actually was the big level. Um, did I long the low? No, I didn't. I had to take a little pee break and I missed it, but I mean that's just something that I have seen time and time again, and especially with this, like in this, right? We're just not. If the downside was going to be like a continuation downside, then icy breath definitely should have flipped red, right? Nasdaq breath didn't even get back. It was 1.88 on the open. Didn't even get back down to where it was at. And here we go back to the offer at 49. So we've got the buyer on the 30, we got the seller on the 50. Um, we've done our job. Now we've identified where our zones are at, and now we can really start to get into it. It was just too choppy for me to mess around with any of that early on, right? I wanted to see continuation on either side, or see someone put some fucking, some chips in the middle of the table, but we didn't really see it. But now we know who we're playing with, and now we can start to bully them around a little bit. Did you take it? Didn't know if that's why I walked away. Yeah, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do. Yeah, sometimes I do that because I know I'll cut it short. Yeah, DJ's onto my tricks. Yeah, sometimes if I get in a position long that I know I want to sit in for a second, but I don't, I know that I'll cut it short if I'm watching it. I'll walk away. Yeah, but no, not that time. I've had a really good week so far, and so I'm taking it pretty light today. And I mean, like I said, I just didn't really see anything that I liked early on. I saw that one good trade, and I mean, it wasn't even. It was really just, I just got in the position. I liked it. It didn't get any continuation, so flattened. Um, Two lots from 58 to. What are my chart markers at? 58 to 60 quarter. Yeah, 58 to 60 quarter. That was a great explanation. A bit of that aha moment. What was that, Zoe? You're talking about this move off that low? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes like, I won't I won't I mean, sometimes in the mornings, right, we get a nice open drive and the market just starts pounding one side or the other, and I'll just go with it, right? And sometimes you get in it, you hit your nice first target, you're able to move your stop up, and then a nice runner comes out of it. Um, and that's just that's just more of a go with the market. That's one of those things where you're in, but you're ready to flatten at any second if it doesn't start working right away. Um, so there's not you don't really have a lot of conviction in that trade, and so those are some trades that I'll take sometimes. But today I just didn't really see any of that. Even the first trade I got in, I didn't see the conviction, flattened out really quick. And then, I mean, the market reversed. And I mean, it went down. We talked about this before the market opened, that this was a weak reference and there was decent odds that it was going to get taken. But I just didn't see, even after we passed that open and we got a negative tick, I didn't see the conviction that I needed to convince myself to get short. And that might be a little bit due to, I do have kind of a long bias leading um into Friday. But like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that every trade that you identify you need to take. There's plenty of trades that I see set up and excuse me, and I don't take them. Yeah, Lecker. Yeah, yeah. Start using my trick. Yeah, and just set your stop, like, and then just walk away, and you'll just be. I mean, if it's tough, because you get into that profit, you want to take it off the table right away. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta walk away. So right up to that VWAP, that 49, that's where the offer is at. 49, still sitting there. Nasdaq catching a little bit of a bid here. You're up at about 68, 70. So the Nasdaq's catching a little bit of a bounce here. See if they get any follow through to the side. Offers coming down. Offers coming down here on the 45 though. A little some selling definitely down here. So a little stop run, right? That offer that was sitting there on the 49 gave up, right? And they all got stopped out. So do you think 54 is still a level to keep in mind? 54. Oh, from before? You're talking about when because they were selling that 58 and then they moved down to 54? Yeah. I mean, they were offering this 54 level on the way down. Um, and I like this level here. Like these gray levels are the levels that I have like kind of an interest in. Maybe getting a bit overdone here though. See the offer come in right at the 60 again. Buyers are holding this 58. I mean, that bounce really just kind of looked like it was on the heels of a stop run, but like you're seeing financials flip, consumer or financials are already green, consumer discretionary is flipping. Healthcare looks like it's trying to go green. A lot of buying stepping up here on this 58. This is the area that we need to see give up. B period's still just sitting inside A period, so we'll see. And after kind of that look below and fail, and this is a 2-day balance, right? Value area balance. Look below and fail does make sense. And we want to see some volume form above that 66. That can give us a nice little ticket there. Morning, Patrick. Glad to hear you got your computer fixed, man. That's awesome. So still selling right on that 60. Looks like they're trying to get trapped here. I don't know if they're trying to get trapped, but it looks like they are getting trapped here. If sellers don't push down below this 57 here, just watch this down here. Get below the 57, then we'll assume that they're trapped. If they're trapped long enough, they have to give up, and that typically leads to a nice little pop of again. Oh, it's only the battery? Oh, that's not bad. So they don't get 57, pop above. We're above the 60 now. We should see some shorts start to cover. Quiet little pour high. Come on, cover those shorts, guys. You want to. They're still holding. Decent response here. You're seeing the weighted 80 flip. Look, tech has just flipped green. Healthcare's about to flip green. Breath is picking up. I want to see a higher breath here, though. I like this tick getting this continuation above 600 still. The little pour high, weak high. Getting right above, right below yesterday's half back as well. Is it too much to ask that we just get above the 66 with some momentum? Come on. So profit taking there. You can see, like, if you look, if we zoom this thing in, you see this just big volume come in. That's just people profit taking right there, right off the high of that 64. There's not really a ton of offering there. It's just people getting out of their positions. But no conviction from buyers here either, really.
I think the upside just needs somebody to believe in it.
Let me close my eyes and hold this buy button down.
Make that wish.
There's a bid right here sitting on the 58. So we saw this 58 act as resistance before there was the offer there. Now it's acting as support here. Remember, we're still watching this 57 level. This is where these sellers are trapped, that we're trapped at. So if they keep covering here, then there could be another little pop. But I mean, you're just not seeing the conviction yet. No follow through there. They still can't break this 57, then the market has nowhere to go but up. Yeah, they keep failing it. So on this pop here, after we break this week high here, we want to see volume come in. We want to take these stops right away. These overnight stops, right? We want to get those out of the way really fast. And then we want to see volume on any retrace because the impulse is going to come basically right from this B high because they're basically just selling the shit out of that. Their stops are here. We'd like to see a nice buyer come in and just eat all these up. But what we need to see is good volume on any back test come in and just hold this half back, that 66 from yesterday. And if we look back here, you got value area high here. Value area high from yesterday is not up till 73, and that T2 high is 74. That's going to be kind of their key. So they need to hold above this 66 and target that 74 here. So here we go. Get a double pop. Come on. Us. Volume still stepping in. Not a huge fan of these weak-handed longs profit taking right here. Do not like that look. Do not like. Okay, so we got some chicken shit longs up here at the top, not willing to. They just took profit all day right there at the 65. Not the ideal look that we were looking for, and so that kind of negates that trade right there, right? It's such an. What happened, TJ? We still might get it.
Where'd you get in? When'd you
54.
get in?
I got in at 54. I got in down here. Yeah, but I just closed at 65. I wanted to see. I wanted to see me talking. Oh, oh, about chickens. Oh, I longed out of that 54 and then closed on that 5. Now go without me.
I'm still getting strong call counts. 138 to 4.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah,
So, how come when you're looking at crypto, you don't look at the TPO?
I do look at the TPO. The thing is with crypto, because it's we're not when you're trading crypto, you're not really trading ticks. I pay attention to the value, where value's at on crypto, because crypto trades typically last a little bit longer. Um, and so you're more tracking value day by day by day than you are tracking like individual levels. Does that make sense? Because like I have, if you look at my trading view, I have the TPO on there. And that's where I get all like my points of control from my TPO and all my value from my TPO. That's this blue and green here.
I gotcha.
Yeah. But it's like you're not going to get in an ETH trade at 1558 and take it out at 1570. You know what I mean? It's not worth it because
Right. Yeah.
you're going to pay so much fucking commission. You could trade these ETH futures here. They're a little bit less liquidity, as you can see. They're kind of gapping around here. This is the minute chart, but if we were to, hit up this 15-minute chart, you could trade the ETH futures here, and that would be a little bit easier, a little bit easier go about it. But you're still gonna wanna you're gonna have to wait for fills for sure, because you definitely are not gonna want to fill a buy order on the ass, because you're gonna get a shit fill guaranteed. Um, there we go. And then, excuse me. Um,
Just because nobody's trading them?
yeah, I mean they're just not as heavy as like the ES. Yeah, but you weren't gonna pay. You're just gonna pay regular futures commissions like per trade. You're not gonna be paying those Bybit, uh, those Bybit trade, whatever it's called. They call those fees, made up fees that they have. There's like a list of fees that they, somehow. Like I want to see the ETH miners that get these fees that they charge on every fucking, you know, index or every trading platform, because I feel like they pocket a lot of that shit.
Did you see how the Biden administration is trying to stop the Tesla buy or the Twitter buy?
Did they? I did not see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. They're using some foreign investor deal to block it. Some Saudi prince that is actually on uh, Twitter for a long time. In fact, he had more shares than Jack for a while. But they don't feel that he's Ukraine friendly enough. They think he's too pro Russia.
The Saudis, I don't think, are pro anything but money.
No, Elon.
Oh, they think Elon's not pro Ukraine enough. Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I think Elon's the same way. He's not pro anything but whatever he wants. Like he doesn't care either way. He just wants to be, yeah, I mean Elon just wants what he wants, and that's what he thinks everyone else should want. He thinks he's, fucking Neo.
Well, using example, he turned off Starlink there, but that was because the president told him to fuck off. So he's like, "All right, I will," and took his shit and left.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that Russia can't just like take Ukraine in like a day. Such a big military.
Well, because they know that it's a proxy war with us.
Yeah, true.
In fact, we sent our 101st Division down there around the line now.
101st Air Assault.
Yeah, 4,700 kids.
That's twice that it's tried to look up here, and we've come back down to this 60. Seeing the volume come up here above. But you keep seeing profit takers. Profiteers trying to hedge early. Nasdaq's trying to go green here. It's down about 0.2 still. It's holding its view up so far. Bid stepping up. Well, this may be the ticket here. Bid stepping up on the 64 here. D period opens up. Got another weak high. Off the 64 there.
Just gotta man up and flush through these stops.
Giving it everything I got here. There we go. Finally. Fucking hell. All right. Let's get above this 74 here. So we want to see no backing and filling. I've had enough of this. I want to see these buyers just hold this 69 level and just keep going. That's going to be the key for strength here. Backing and filling shows weakness, and we might back down to that 64 again. There's not. Want to see.
We're now 95, 97, and 0. So it looks like not a lot of move to the downside based on these numbers.
Yeah, and we're seeing a 180 from the. We're seeing a 180 from the Nasdaq here, almost back to green, barely down 0.05. Getting that oomph that we need to really break it in. A little stop run there. Still just sitting in balance. A little bit of backing and filling though. That's actually not bad. We didn't come back down to the 64, so I do like that. Mechanical trading feels like the way to go. Yeah, just taking them in, taking them out. Yeah. Zones up here. A little bit of selling coming in right here. If the tick, so if the tick doesn't break zero here, if the tick doesn't break zero here, we should be on. We should be on for the upside. Yes, breaking trend, but only by time, not by uh not by move. Goes 4. I'm gonna change this zone here a little bit. This level seems to be a little bit more reactive than just the level above. So tick broke zero there. Kind of a little gap down, a little pressure sitting on there. Offers on the 66 now.
How far above a low did we go?
Oh, 6
Oh, so
ticks.
not that, it wasn't that far away.
No. Back to this 58. Yeah, so that negative tick, that was a key signal for us, right? We got the negative tick. We knew that the trade zone got disqualified. Just sat on the hands. And there's a little bit of a liquidation there. Buyers could not gain control, get enough of what they needed to get in order to get that rolling. So if we get back up into that zone, we get this positive tick rolling, start to see some of our sectors go back because we're still, I mean, we're picking up a little bit of downside momentum here. Not really a huge fan of that. Back inside initial balance, back inside Globex, back inside value. More chopperooskies. Nasdaq had a little bit of a flusherooski there too. Down about 0.2, 0.5 now. Being down 0.05 and now it's down 0.5. You're getting a little bit of selling coming in right there out the high. Then we so no conviction. No conviction. Dad, you said you're done for the day. Up. What are we looking at? 89 points. Good stuff. I like it. Ooh, $200 away on 2. And what's those 25K accounts? What's the goal on those? Is that 1,500?
1,500, yeah.
Nice. So you're like $500 away on both of those, and then $200 on the other two. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good shit.
That's like like 90% MES, maybe even more, probably even more.
And that just goes to show, like, it's not and I mean, I feel like a broken record. And I talk about this so much. It feels so good to hit the ES and hit a nice big trade on the ES, right? Um, and even sometimes you take an MES trade and you're like, ah man, if that was on the ES, it would have been this. But if you keep telling yourself that, you're eventually going to switch to the ES, and the ES does feel good to hit a nice good trade, but it also feels bad to hit a bad trade. And so if you're new in this, you've been doing it for a year, 2 years, don't take any shame in, oh, I trade the micros. Like, what the fuck? Who cares? Right? You trade the micros successfully for a month. This is when we'll use my dad as an example. Successfully for the month, he's up over 7 grand here, on micros. A lot less stress in your life that way, and a lot less having to be perfect. A lot more getting that time in a trade and understanding how the trade develops, and that's going to make your transition to the ES, once you get that account built up, a lot easier. Watch this tick go positive and we get above the 58. We might get a nice little pop here. Trying to see if we're going to get some volume and some support from the NASDAQ though, but it doesn't look like it's happening yet. Yeah, looks like they want the VWAP here. But just bringing it back. Don't be afraid or ashamed. I mean, I don't know why people don't trade the micros. I just don't know. Probably about a month ago, when I had the conversation with my dad, a little bit over a month ago now, about sticking to the micros and staying on the micros. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Right down to the VWAP. Offers moving down here to the 52, trying. Soaked in. Bids are stepping up. Looks like some stops are about to come out though here to the downside. Where's the open at? 50? Yeah. Their stop's just right below the open if they get this. Offers coming in heavy on the 52 still. Yeah, I mean, and exactly, even if you want to trade 10 lots at a time, right? You get, let's say you just take a short here, 52. You take 10 lots short, right? You see this offer, you're like, oh, I'm short in 52 lots. And then it goes down, breaks the open, but you don't get those stops at the 50. You just take 7 or 8 off, right? You're still putting on the same amount of risk, but you still get to stick in the trade a little bit. Whereas on the ES, you take the whole position off and then it bounces up back to that 53 right there or whatever, and now you're stopped out, and here we go back below your entry again. Like that's the issue here. And so I really don't understand why people just shy away from it. There's those stops that we were looking for. And over time you build up that account. Like I said, once you get 5 grand in that account, take an ES trade, one ES trade, right? And you get 10 grand in that account. Now you get a second lot on the ES. But set parameters for yourself. Don't just decide, oh, this trade right here, this is going to be an ES trade. Like, That's just such a hard thing to determine. I feel like, oh, okay, well, this trade is going to be an ES trade. Unless you're just super confident about it and it's just setting up exactly how you want it, then I understand the leveraging up. But if you don't have the margin in your account, you're just doing too much risk for no reason, really. The weighted sector's starting to roll over here. Starting to get another lower tick. Below the VWAP now. Size traders are in both, 100%. Yeah, I agree. 100%. People are using the micros guaranteed all day to hedge some of their longer term positions, for sure. This is such a sloppy ass market today. This is what Jim Dalton would refer to as there's no adults in the room. I think we have some team members that are in his intensive. I don't know if his intensive is over. Look at the website. What's the intensive? Or no, was it intensive? Yeah, I think it was an intensive. And he has like a, yeah, there's a primer, a profile primer, as he calls it. The 7th or the 15th. But I don't know if that fall intensive ends November 3rd. No, so it's still going on. Sellers are stuck down here 40, 48. Watch for a positive tick here. Positive tick and a pop of the 52. Could see a decent move back up to this 44 area you're looking for, Roach. I think we might. There's the 48. Give us a positive. Yeah, this is middle of the range. This is a tough spot right here. There's that positive tick. Might be good. Hold for that 75 to 107. So some puts are getting caught up. Offers trying to come in here at this 52. If the tick goes red, just flatten here. But if the tick can stay positive, it would be a nope, don't like that. Hit it. Headed for a loss there. 2/4, 52.50. That's what I get for the bad fill. Should have filled at 50. $82.12 with the last 1 minute candle. So some buyers are just there. I mean, it does look like they're trying to step up there. Just they failed. That's all that was. And I filled late. I tried to get filled 50, but I just low on the trigger. Try it again. Above this 52, we should go. Here we go. Get rolling. Ticks coming back. There we go. No follow through again. Tick drops back below 0. Yeah, at least made up for that loss. Better fill that second time. How the Apex traded fund things work. So you just take the evaluation. Basically, Tick's starting to participate again. I mean, basically, so you get an account, right? And let's say the account it just says the account number is irrelevant. But the account will say $50,000, and your profit target is a $3,000 profit target. You have access to like 20 minis and 50 micros or something like that. I mean, I could just pull the website up here. Okay. Move this over here to the side. Okay, so you get we'll just use the 50K account as an example here. You get 20 micros, 10 minis, 20 micros. Your profit goal is $3,000. Your trailing threshold is 25 grand. You have no daily drawdown, no scaling penalties, nothing like that. You get to use Ninja Trader license for free. You get a data fee for free. Excuse me. You get you pay the $167 a month. It's actually half of that. They always have that 50% off sale. So it'll be like $90 or something like that. And you have an unlimited amount of time really to finish this goal. Just at the end of every single 30 days, you have to pay the fee again, right? And then once you pass this, once you get to that $3,000, you'll get on what's called a performance account, a PA account. Performance account abbreviation. And then after trading, I think it's 25 days or it might be 30 days, you can start to withdraw money as long as your next account is above this 50K account is above like the 53,000 level. I'm not exactly sure the numbers for this account. But
What's a trailing threshold?
so the trailing threshold goes off of your max intraday gain. So let's say you're in this account, right, and it goes up $1,000 and you're up unrealized $1,000, right? If it goes back down to 0 and you stop out at 0, so your account stayed exactly the same, stayed right at 50,000. Well, your trailing threshold is actually going to be 1,500 now because it went up 1,000 and you didn't close out. So this trailing threshold is more or less forcing you to take profit on the way up. Nice. Up here.
So you can only have $2,500 in pullbacks in 30 days?
But you can own your max loss is $2,500. Yeah, and it's a trailing, so it's
And
not
then it doesn't matter
very
even if you're over the 53,000.
well. If you're over, once you get over the 53,000, as long as it's been 10 days, they'll move you to a performance account.
And then there's no trailing threshold.
No, there is a trailing threshold on the performance accounts as well.
But the more money you have in it, the bigger your threshold is.
Right. So after you get to 53,000, right, your trailing threshold stops on the performance account at 50,100. So if you've got 60,000 in the account, your actual threshold is that, $9,900. So it's not gonna, it doesn't keep following you up every $2,500. It stops at that 5,100. Watch for this 58 to trade here, guys. 860. Good idea. Nasdaq's not playing along as much as it did before. And there's a ton of videos on it, Lecker, that do a better job explaining it than I do, I'm sure. It's just, I think it's a decent tool to utilize, if you utilize it the correct way, right? If you're getting one of these accounts, like that 50K account with a $2,500 drawdown, the way that I look at it is it's not a 50K account, it's a $2,500 account. So you shouldn't be trading the ES, more or less.
It's good because it lets you learn all the lessons you need to learn. But if you accidentally lose $2,500, you really are only out $80 that you paid for the account. You didn't just blow $2,500 in your bank account.
Right.
And if you blow that account, though, you're not just losing $80. You're losing all that time it took to get to that level.
Yeah, that's true. You're losing the time for sure. But you're also gaining experience within that time. So it's like, I mean, the thing is it's a sim account. So if you could put those same stipulations on yourself and follow those rigid rules on the sim account before putting the real money in your account, the trade, how you're going to trade, then that's it. I like the idea of it because it gives me a little bit more flexibility to with a little bit less stress of, risking my own capital. I'm on the prop account now, but that's where I started. I started on those accounts and then switched to the PA accounts and then got invited over to the prop accounts. Because even on the PA account, it's still a paper account. It's not real money. But if you show consistency in there, then they want you to start trading under the real money account so they can really collect that 10% from you. But they make their money, I mean, mostly, and Poke posted this in the Discord this morning, and I'm sure it's relatively similar on, probably all of these types of accounts, but we open this up, you can see, I mean, this is obviously on a Forex one, and so it said new live accounts for the month of November was 5,718. They paid out a pretty decent amount of money, right? $2 million. Most traded pair, most profitable pair, most least profitable pair. Passed phase 1, 10% passed the phase 1. 24% of traders passed phase 2 who passed phase 1. So you figure 24% of 10% is, like, was that 2% basically? And then reach the first profit split, 3% of traders who passed phase 2. So you've got 3% of 2%. You're getting in decimals here, so not many people do it, and that's because most of the people that are getting on these are just gambling them up. But I mean, I could tell you straight up, it's not impossible. It's definitely not impossible. It's just not easy, right? Like they want you to think, oh, you just use my money and you can just fucking have access to all this extra cash and just leverage yourself up and then blow your account and then reset your account 100 million times and I'll just make money off you not fucking doing well. You know, and that's pretty much like their business model, is that's what they do. They make money off those resets.
So who'd they pay the $2 million out to?
Me. I know there's like 8 of us from Apex that are on a prop account, like a real prop account. Out of 10,000 people, only 7 would get to stage 3. I mean, that makes sense, yeah, because I know there's 8 of us that are on the prop account, which would be stage 3, I guess, in Apex version. Stage 2 being the PA account and stage 3 being the prop account. So D period opening up. You're seeing the liquidation here. Oh, you meant just taking the first withdrawal. Yeah, there was like and it was even less.
Is that what you said? That the last stage was like people that took a withdrawal or something like that. That picture you were showing.
Yeah, but that was for like a 4x account.
Oh, gotcha. I was just doing the math on numbers. I had to keep raising the number just to get above 1. Like even off 1,000 people, it was like 0.7. So it's like wasn't even one person. It's like kept having to add zeros.
Yeah, when I talked to the guy John at Apex, he's told me that they've actually reached out to people that have like reset their account so many times that they like, told them like, we need to cut you off, which I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Jared ever got that call, but is he here? No. But I don't know if that's a big truth. He said that a decent amount of people do make it to the first withdrawal. It's just after that, it starts to get slimmer and slimmer, and he said, I think it was on their 5th or 6th withdrawal, there was only about 8 people. 8 people that they've moved over to the prop account. The biggest downside of Apex is with the way the withdrawals are set. Only being able to withdraw once a month. I mean, I guess I don't really see an issue with that. A lot of people want to take their money out right away.
It's just like any business.
Yeah. You get
pay
paid
yourself once a month.
right. Have to make 25 days to trade the withdrawal. Yeah, but that's the thing is like if you're trading, let's say you're trading that 50K account and you're trading it on the ES, $2,500, that's what, 30 points, right? About what's 3 times 5? Yeah. I mean, you could just blow that shit easy in like a day, especially with the volatility now. So it usually takes about 2 months, yeah. And if you're trading it smart, like on the MES, it's normally going to take about 2 months to get up to that threshold anyways. So. But if you're trading it smart, yeah, like Tommy's saying, like if you're trading it smart and you trust yourself, just trade your own account. And I mean, I trade my own account as well. because sometimes I like to hold positions through the close, and with these accounts you can't. Yeah, then after 4 months you can withdraw no minimum. Yeah. No, you should, anything that you can connect the data to, you should be able to. So you could use it through Quant Tower. Because I connect it through my Sierra charts. So it definitely works with Sierra. I haven't tried it on Quant Tower, so don't quote me, but it definitely works on Sierra. So yeah, today, I mean, today's just an ugly day. Like, this is just, ugh, disgusting. Today, it almost makes me want to just fucking go jump on some Fortnite. Because it's just such an ugly day. It's like not even worth it. What do we got going on tomorrow? Let's see here. It just hasn't been a lot of good quality trades today, and there's really just been no follow through from anything. I mean, we've had some decent trades, but nothing really sustaining. Everything's just been kind of a scalp here, scalp there, scalps everywhere. So what do we got? We got tomorrow, we've got core PCE. Hell yeah, good shit, Steven. 1,300 on the eval account made today and 300 made on the PA. Good stuff. And like, I can have my dad start posting his things every single day in the Discord. Because he's trading, like you said, over 90% MES under the accountability. Normally he just sends them to me, but he's just trading the MES. He trades Globex a lot. He's always sharing his screen, and he normally sharing like his trade. I mean, does share his trades because you'll see him on his screen when he gets in a trade. It'll pop up. But it just shows that it's it's definitely a possibility. It's not impossible. It just takes time. Time for bed. Good stuff. Yeah. I sleep well, my man. 204 to 15 here. Tomorrow we've got core. No, we got PCE. Price index year over year. Yeah, we got core PCE. So core PCE. Today we had PCE, which excludes food and energy, and I'm pretty sure core PCE price index measures the changes in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers for the purpose of consumption, excluding food and energy. So this one's excluding food and energy as well. Prices are weighted according to total expenditure per item. It measures price change from the perspective of the consumer. It is a key way to measure changes in purchasing trends and inflation. And this PCE is typically what the Fed uses to measure inflation, not the PCIs. And then just a bunch of COT positioning later on. And then pending home sales, 10 o'clock, 30 minutes after the market opens. And then also tomorrow we'll have the results of Apple and Amazon earnings. And we will find out if Elon is going to buy Twitter for real. Because it seemed like he was, seemed like he was trying to throw the whole kitchen sink at the market with that, he walked into the Twitter headquarters in San Francisco yesterday with a kitchen sink in his hands. Whatever the fuck that means. And then we got this here.
I might pump, but I don't dump.
All right, Steven, you have a good night, man. Catch you later. Back to the VWAP here. Where is Jared? Is he asleep still? If James can wake up in Hawaii, fucking 3 a.m. Mechanical selling on the open, guys. We should be keep going. Should be keep going. What a sentence that was, huh? There it goes. Nice little stop run. Now let's see if we can get the steam here finally. That NASDAQ to start getting on board here. That's that East Coast talk. Yeah, East Coast does. They just take out words. There's, they don't waste time. Why say more words when few words do trick? NASDAQ still not participating in that little pop right there. We're back down below. They get a little stop run, get some more stop spot in the market, and then come back down to that 48 again. This 49, 48 level's been a big level all day. You can see that's, most of this volume is right here, right below the open. D period came down, that weak volume and just kind of died out. Still just sitting inside this initial balance. Okay. This. Instead of did you, it's you. Yeah, Jew. You do this? Yeah, combine everything. Yeah, they just like, yeah, mix it in. So this 48 has just been such a kind of a key level on both sides, right? And the reason I'm not marking this is because it seems to be an either or zone, right? I am still leaning bullish. I think that even with the NASDAQ trying to die, and unable to kind of kill the ES, and the Dow still up 1.2, the Russell up 1.2, that, it just shows that, maybe the S&P can do it without the tech stocks, right? If there's enough support in the broader market, maybe they can just at least hold the line, right? Hold the door until what happens next. But is 48 yesterday's point of control? No, my point of control yesterday. I mean, it's, yeah, pretty much, yeah. 6, yeah, yeah, pretty much. More volume there. VPOC was down here at 44. Yeah, it's a point of control. Same idea, 6 and 6. You got 6 down here as well. But it's really just like in this or that level. Like you're trading off of it both ways, and that makes sense, right? Being the point of control, and that's a good call out. Like, I didn't even think about that. I've just been kind of basing on how today's been acting at that 48, but really just back and forth. Like, uh, could go up, could go down, and to me, that's a no trade zone. You know, there's scalping opportunities. Let's not say no trade zone, but more or less, it's a higher risk in that area. 2352 for the call puts. NASDAQ coming back down here, tick getting below 0. Our weighted ADs back to the downside here after getting a little pop up. Typically, in my opinion, or in my history of watching this weighted AD that Peter Reznicek and his team have made, when we start out negative and go positive, we come back negative. If this negative doesn't succeed or exceed, excuse me, this low here, then to the moon it is. I haven't seen a lot of it where we start negative and then go positive, and it either goes back negative and gets really negative and then the market just continues down. But I haven't seen an inverse kind of where it starts positive and then goes negative, and then goes positive again. It doesn't necessarily happen. Normally if it starts positive and then goes negative, it just stays negative. But when we get a little positive flop, it kind of tells us that our buyers are in board. And remember where we saw our buyers last time? They're down here, 30. Right? They're probably still down there, just waiting to responsibly buy below yesterday's low. So, no problem for us, right? We can just be patient, wait to see what we get, and get on board with the larger time frame traders. All right, now's that time. Gotta stand up, relieve some of that pressure off your neck. Sitting at the computer, leaning forward. Crack your back, extend to the upside. Your head in a neutral position, flex your core. If you have trouble flexing your core, just tighten your butt cheeks. Flex your core naturally. That's science.
I'm waiting for you to start singing about your Balenciennes.
My what?
Singing about your Balenciennes again. That song you were singing.
D period fails there in that low volume area. Watch the 44 here. What's that level you were looking for earlier, right, Roach? 44 flips, get a green tick. Little participation by
Yeah,
the
I
NASDAQ.
took it earlier. I took it twice for the long.
Yeah, it looks like it might flip here too as well.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm take it again, but maybe. See what happens.
Apple's down 1.8, Amazon's down 2.8, Google's down 1.2, Meta's down 22%, Microsoft's down 1.5, Tesla's down 0.2, TNX is down 2%, 39, VIX is down 27, 0.3. Dollar is actually coming up here a little bit. Bitcoin's struggling. Offer coming in here. This 44 still. They're trying to sell right here. What's the tick? So they're sellers are trying to sell into this buying here. Got him. Up. Got him. Got him. Somebody tell him that we got him. Got him. I'll just run the 48. Take us back up to the VWAP. That should all the way back up above the DI here. They're still trying to offer here. They don't know that they're got. Four schmucks. If it gets below this 40. Yeah. back to back to the 50 AMA, just right there. Yeah, I just moved my stop up and it just flipped down and came back up. Took me. I mean, I'm not trying to risk too much here, right in the middle of the zone. You know, I do think these sellers are stuck down at 40. Seeing a bid step up above it. Look at the breadth here on the NYSE. So 2.2 here, right in the middle of the range, right at the open. This is kind of telling us that buyers are, stepping up here, right? Because last time we got down there low, especially close to the Globex low, we were about one. I mean, we almost went red. So yeah, we opened up 2.88, I think, positive, but give these sellers one more chance to get below that 44 again. 43. 42.5, Roach. These might be stops right here on this floor. They look like they're bids. They look like they're stepping up 50 order there. Now still standing up. Making lower highs here. Nasdaq's hitting support right there as well at the same time. They still didn't get back down. All right, Zoe. See you tomorrow. Sleep well.
And it feels like it should be like F period already.
Yeah, just by how, like, yeah, it does. Well, 3 more minutes until E. We're coming right into the London close. Offer steps down to the 42.5 here. Good to ride. What's the tick? Positive tick and above 42.5. Part 1 here. Tick.
Man, that thing ran away fast. I tried to add it. Couldn't get it.
Big orders coming through here. 122 lots on the 45 quarter. 100 lots. 109 lots on the 44 quarter. 45 trades 28 on the bid. Down to 42.5. Watch these buyers step up. Offers coming in 48 again. 7.
Yeah, I only got filled on one. I got out at 4 points.
Not a bad trade.
I got the 41.5. I clicked it 2 more times, but man, that thing was popping quick. It was
Yeah,
like
it did.
$3 points up.
Yeah,
Fast.
as soon as it popped that 42.5, it basically jumped straight to 46.
Yeah. So I closed my. I don't. When it runs away like that, I always just cancel the bid that didn't get filled because if it comes back, a lot of times it just goes back through. The standard deviation has been holding us right here. I think if we get below, it might finally get a little more downside. Oh, just put in another divergence there.
What's the divergence on RSI?
Yeah, that wick right there made a lower low. But we'll see. Since we're below that standard deviation, I have to see if that selling keeps coming.
Yeah, they're hammering.
Man,
me off right
RSI's
here.
been on it today. Stinking had a bullish divergence on the A low and a bearish divergence on the B high. On the 1 minute and the 5 minute. And I don't know how I was ignoring it. Okay. I don't know what.
Where'd you grab the 2.5 again?
No, I grabbed it once on the way down. That was it. I didn't take it the second or third time. Might go down to see 32. Right?
Yeah, see where this buyer's at. See if he still likes it. 30.
30, yeah, 32, 30, yeah, all the way down. Yeah. They said Ana. You ever hear Ana?
Aina?
Yeah, you ever hear that?
Yeah, you're talking about like over. Yeah, people say it.
Yeah. They say that all west, you said?
No. Here on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'll move my stop for. So stop run there.
Yeah, if the price action wasn't so shitty and indecisive, this is an area where we could run up. We should be able to run right back up.
Move my stop up to 45.50 now. Yeah, I'm running this tight because yeah, exactly like you're saying, like it's just so choppy. But I mean, it wants to go. I was able to get filled right there on the 40, so I was actually so.
Nice. Yeah, I was looking for it to make a lower low with the bullish divergence, but grabbed it early on that first trade, and then since I had already taken profit, I didn't want to get back in. Could have taken the same trade twice then.
Mine was 40,
Back at
like
50.
yeah, 40 on the dot. I'm just hiding behind this and down.
Need to take this high, these 1 minutes right here, because we've been making lower highs. Get over VWAP.
They're breaking the trend finally. So this is that longer term trend here too, all the way back from 1030. So, which was the high, I think. That one got me.
54 quarter could give us a little trouble if you get up there, if we get up that high.
I got taken out on that. Feels good when you're in the same
Yeah.
trade as me. And that's been happening. This is third day in a row. Third day in a row, we're pretty much all identifying the same trades. So we're all identifying like the market very well, especially this week. Like, you know, everything's kind of coming together. I don't know what it is, but it's working out well, and I like it. Something's happening. He sent me a message on Facebook about putting a short video together to improve my publicity on social. They want me to pay for it. Be a no for me, dog.
So if you're paying for video production, you gotta hit me up, bro.
I know your videos are nice.
I'll have to post one of the videos that me and my wife has like produced, like for clients, like not our YouTube videos. That's a lot different style, but I'll just show them to you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
We just finished one.
And by no breakouts right here, I guess, huh?
Well, definitely not.
Yeah, couldn't get over view up there.
Buy the low, sell the high.
Honestly, it's been safe.
Yeah, it just keeps going up, down, up, down.
The problem is I haven't been trading back to the middle today. Been looking for. I've been looking at go with scenarios, basically. Like got under the overnight low, I was looking for a go with. Got over the overnight high, I was looking for a go with. Really the wrong side. I was ignoring.
Or you wait for the breakout and then go with.
Yeah, so I mean that little bounce right there looks like they captured it. These sellers are probably going to give it a go again here. We're starting to see the tick get below the 600. So there's a little bit of strength in selling here. Starting to see that weighted AD come down. The breath is cooling and even picking up on the Nasdaq here. Offers coming down. There it goes. Offer came down to the 40. I was just about to say before this little explosion down. It was kind of setting up. It looked like grabbing. So let's watch this 32.30 level. That's where that buyer was at this morning.
Brad, something new just happened.
Okay.
Normally, I'm in a trade and I'm in a short or something, and then you're like, all right, buyers are stepping up right here. Like I was actually in a short, and then you gave me confirmation for once versus tell me I'm in the wrong trade.
Look at you.
I
Growing.
know, dude. I shorted from 48, and then when it got to 40, I was thinking about selling because it's been bouncing off of that level. So I was like, I don't know. And then you're like, looks like sellers got it. I'm like, yes.
Posted that last one we did in the general chat. Anybody wants to check that?
Okay, yeah.
It's like a minute and a half, I think. Something like that. I love the beat. As it gets into the video, it starts picking up.
Well, let's watch it. What's it on YouTube or something?
No, I just posted the file from my phone.
Let's watch it on the stream.
Can't hear anything. Geez, it's playing really fast. Is it on like really fast speed?
Oh, let me share the sound. I'll sound shared on Zoom.
It might look like it was on like 2x speed or something.
Nice. I like that. The beat is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the
Nice
beat.
job.
Yeah, that was a good
Yeah,
video.
that was a sick beat. I was starting to feel that beat. Trading. I was
The real
cracking.
earworm.
I was cracking up too. I was like construction worker. He's all got Prada glasses on.
That's what I was thinking. I'm thinking everything's clean. The guy's clothes, his tools, everything's clean. It was good though.
Yeah, I appreciate it. My wife did all the editing. I just helped video.
Looks like they're setting up a little liquidity right here in front of the 32 half. Setting up stops. There it goes.
30 was where this buyer was at this morning. Let's see. Breath cooling here. Look at, we've got, last time we were down here, we only had 3 out of the 4. Now we've got all 4. So 60% of the S&P is getting down. This weighted AD goes below. Typically, we're making a lower low. The target would be that 3807 will be the level after this 30. Weekly VWAP's at the 32. Could be liquidating VWAP. We haven't had, I mean, these are just barely over 1,000. Here's the high, the high's at 1150, but these barely are over 1,000. We haven't had a low tick over 1,000 or below 1,000. Till now. Look at the profile, really balanced profile here. Got excess on the high, excess on the low. Fairly balanced here. We're back below yesterday's low. So this is an area, this side of responsive buyers are willing to scoop this up. So you're seeing the offer move down. Look at the volume coming in. All right, Lecker. Catch you later, man. Have a good day. Looks like we're making it lower. We can get some continuation. Volume move down here. Hard to tell though. Hard to tell if it's sellers being aggressive or if they're just trying to get out of this short here on the weekly VWAP. A lot of positions changing hands right here. Tapering here off this low. We're covering up.
Seems like the safer shorts have been off the back test of the 50 past few times.
Oh yeah. No conviction again. Once again, no conviction. Picks almost back up at zero. Buying off the low. They didn't force that thing down. It was mostly just a stop run is what that looked like. You have tapering here on this profile that represents the last 30 minutes here. You get tapering right here off that low. Jumps up into the slow liquidity zone. Now it's up to sellers to move down and sell below yesterday's low. If not, probably back up to where was that offer at? 42. 42, 40, 42.
Got a couple of thin spots on the 1 minute now,
Oh,
like 38 and like 33.5.
oh, right. Yeah, above and below here. Yeah, sellers need to backfill this area, and then they need to hold this weak spot really above at 38. They need to move down from their high horse. Don't want to get any continuation, but I mean this breadth is not really speaking to us as a trend-setting type of day. You can see in the weighted AD just failed to really get anything going. The breadth is still, for the most part, neutral. Financials flip back to green, so now we're 3 to 460% there. Not really anything spectacular on On that note, as E period starts to dwindle down to do nothing, I think I'm going to call it a day. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out. We'll jump in the TPO chat later this afternoon. I encourage everyone to jump in there, even if you don't say anything, just listen. Most of the time, it's like my dad, my uncle, and DJ, just going over what they're seeing in the market, and pretty fun time in there for the most part. So jump in, introduce yourself if you feel like it. If not, just hang out and listen up. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan, and I will catch you all later.